Thank you to Two Before for sponsoring this episode of the Running For Real podcast. I'm excited to introduce you to Two Before, which is a sports performance superfood made from one of my favorite flavors, the blackcurrant. This is New Zealand Blackcurrant. It's a little bit sweet, a little bit tangy. This berry is going to help you perform better and recover faster by optimizing blood flow efficiency, priming your body to manage exercise-induced stress, something we could all use and appreciate. Now, this is the result of over 10 years of research and development. Two Before products are here to enhance your pre-workout nutrition. I have been using it for the last few months, really loving getting to know these products, getting to use them before my workouts. I have really been enjoying the blackcurrant flavor. That is something in England we had a lot. They contain unique levels of antioxidants that have been proven to increase athletic performance and speed up recovery, which can only help us. They have these caffeine and caffeine-free formulas. It's clean. It's not got any crash energy. I love to use it with 4 to 8 ounces of water. You can either mix it with other drinks, and that is absolutely fine. I drink it about half an hour before my workout, and it actually helps me to feel better during my workout. So whether I'm feeling fatigued from just life in general or everything that's going on, I am enjoying being able to use this. Now, as a friend of mine, when you buy a 20-pack of Two Before at twobefore.com and you use code TINA, you can get not only 30% off, but you also can get free shipping by using code TINA at twobefore.com. That's the number 2, before.com, twobefore.com. Use code TINA to get yourself 30% off and free shipping. If you have some performance goals in the coming months, this is what you need to be using. It tastes great. It's great for your performance, and it is a great superfood to just give your body the gift of health.
All right, Tina, we are back with another For Real-Isode. And I'm super excited about this one. And I don't know if it's the long run talking, but I want to know in detail, what is the best meal you've ever eaten in your life, and where was it?
Oh, wow. God, I feel like that's something that, okay, a few things come to mind. One was having fish and chips in Sydney, or it wasn't in Sydney, it was on one of the beaches that you have to take a boat to from Sydney, not Bondi Beach, somewhere else. But this place is like known for their fish and chips. It might be Bondi Beach. But we took a boat there. We sat like outside looking out of the water. The fish and chips were just like perfection. Like the fish was obviously from very fresh. I remember
do you remember? Like, was it halibut?
I don't remember what kind of fish it was. But it was like one of the famous places that we went to, and we just sat there with like, I think I had a cider, and it was just like perfection. The meal, the fact that we were on our honeymoon, the fact that we were just like enjoying this time together. We had both put our phones away for like most of that trip. And it was a very present moment. So that, and fish and chips was something that, very nostalgic for me. So that's one. But the other thing that comes to mind is I've got two things. One is I'm not going to go into one, but one was like a meal. I love saying, when friends say to me, when I'm coming to their town, what do you want to eat? I always say weird and unique stuff. So my friend from Athletic Greens, John Corn, he took me out for dinner when I was in Austin once, and we had tried all these like crazy unique things, and I loved it. But I actually am going to go with, you probably heard me talking about this, the Waffle House in England has this banoffee waffle. So there's a restaurant. It's not like the Waffle House here. It is like bougie, like probably 12 to 15 pounds for a waffle kind of restaurant. But they have one, my favorite, and a lot of people's favorite, is this banoffee waffle, where it's this waffle with like sliced bananas, chocolate flakes, so not like chocolate sprinkles or anything, but like shaved chocolate, and a banoffee, like a toffee banoffee. You don't have banoffee here, do you? But it's like toffee,
no, banana flavor.
Yeah. And that sauce, and then you have ice cream with it. So The
Oh
Waffle
my
House
gosh.
always has a massive line or wait to get to it, but it is so worth it. And it's in St. Albans. So,
I was going to
yeah,
say it
love
might
it.
cost you 10 to 15 pounds, but you're probably walking out of there 10 or 15 pounds to the positive. So,
That is true. It is so good. Although sometimes when I was like a teenager, I would get that and another waffle and a plain waffle to which I would fill it all with syrup. So my parents would always be like, God, how can you like fit that much in your body? Like these two giant waffles. And I'm not talking about waffles like the ones you get in the store, the like small ones, but these are like solid,
big
like,
Belgian waffles.
I mean, yeah, I mean, maybe even bigger than that, like the size of like, I don't know what to say the size of.
Like
I'm
a
looking
plate.
at a bag of Twizzlers, a big bag of Twizzlers, a family pack that size. But yes, it's big. Is my point.
Yeah.
All right, your turn. I've talked
It's
enough.
funny, that actually reminded me of not the best meal I've ever had, but one of the best breakfasts out I've ever had. Like in Bellingham, Washington, where I went to college, there was, again, sort of the same like bougie little town called Fairhaven that was right next to the water, kind of an offshoot of Bellingham. And there's this little breakfast place. It's Victorian themed. It's called Skylarks. And you walk in and there's like old portraits and like gilded mirrors on the wall. And it's like dark and really intimate. And they had like a French toast, but it was made out of banana bread that they had battered, and then they drizzled like caramel sauce all over it. And as you were describing, I was like,
Wow.
it's that. And that was the best like breakfast out. So for me, it's like there's a very clear food city to me that like blew my mind meal after meal after meal. And that was Paris. Like, I know it's kind of a cliche, but Paris, like literally not a thing I ate there was disappointing. And I went there when I was sponsored by Reebok, and Reebok, it was owned, I think it still is, by Adidas. And so like the main guy who like kind of owns the whole thing is in Paris. So he welcomed me to this. It was like a Paris race. And basically the point was to like bring in someone Reebok sponsored to win it. So they flew me over and he kind of showed me around Paris, and I got really stressed out because it's like the night before the race. He's like, oh yes, let's go to this restaurant at 11 PM. And I was just like, but I did, because you can't say no. And also like all the cliches were so true. Like I literally met this guy, and you think in your head of like, oh yeah, French people. And you just picture them in your mind. Like, you think the kissing on the cheek is a joke. It's not. Like they kiss you full on the face.
Oh yeah.
And I was like affronted. But anyway, so like we went to this restaurant that had like a $200 steak on the menu, and it was called like Tears of a Dragon or something ridiculous. And it was the most like mouth-watering thing. And then after the race, I remember sitting by this little cafe as I think it's about 8:00 at night. They light up the Eiffel Tower with a light show. And I was just sitting there eating creme brulee, staring at the Eiffel Tower. And I was like, I have peaked. Like it will never get any better than this. So Paris as a city, oh my gosh, that was definitely the best food city. Like even I remember one time I ordered just room service from the hotel, and it was like this ornate like cauliflower soup with like a like charred red pepper that had been swirled around and like stuck in. It was so exquisite. I didn't even want to eat it. And that was just like the hotel food. So that all was amazing. But I think the single meal that really stands out for me is Michael and I, when we moved from North Carolina to Lake Tahoe, our last night of the trip, we went through Lone Pine, California. Now, Michael had a buddy who owned this restaurant. I think it was called Seasons. It's not there anymore, but it was like this beautiful 4-star restaurant in Lone Pine, which is this tiny town at the base of Mount Whitney. So it's this desert town in the shadow of the tallest mountain in the continental United States. It's a town that like the people who were running Badwater, it's their last town that they run through before they head up to the mountain. So tiny little town of Lone Pine, and this little restaurant called Seasons. And he basically was like, hey, I heard you're coming through town. Like, let me cook for you. So we go into this restaurant, and he brought out, he's like, hey, I'm going to just do like the courses for you. So the first thing was like this incredible like cheese tray, which we love a good charcuterie board.
Oh yeah.
So it was like everything he made was just so perfect. Like he brought out a sirloin steak with this sauce that like I have tried to duplicate, and I just can't. He brought out leg of lamb, which I've never had in my life, served with like a mango chutney, like everything just from course to course to course. I was like, it can't get any better. And then it just kept getting better. And it capped it off with like these lemon drop drinks and this big slab of homemade New York style cheesecake. And I just remember like walking out of that restaurant. I was like, I will never eat like that ever again. Like I know a meal is really good when I'm like, I could not replicate anything I ate,
Yeah.
because I don't know about you,
Yeah.
Tina, but I go to a restaurant and I'm like, I want to order something. I could not, or
Oh,
at
for
least I
sure.
wouldn't make it home. Yeah, because like I order like eggs Benedict because it's like I can make them, but they take an hour and I don't want to spend an hour making breakfast,
No, for sure. No, that's exactly what I do. And I love like thinking of the combinations, but also like respecting that that chef knows that every single ingredient is like perfectly designed to like bring out the flavors of the other things. And so, I want to make the most of that experience of being able to make the most of like enjoying that unique gift that they have and you have in many ways. You're one of those super tasters, and I feel like you've always had a really good like. Do you remember we used to like? I would give you something to eat, and you'd be
we
like,
would taste
"Oh,
test.
I taste like rosemary," and I'd be like, "How is she doing this?" You like, I loved that.
Yeah, that comes with pros and cons because it's like I can handle literally zero spice. Like when they ask me in a restaurant, like, oh, 1 to 5, how spicy? I'm like 0. Like my answer is 0. Please remove the spice from this dish because I can't handle anything. You like a little bit of spice, don't you?
A little bit, yeah. Not like
A little bit.
crazy, but yeah, definitely. Okay, well, that was a good question. I liked it. Thank you so much. And listeners, we'd love to hear your answers if you want to share. And we will see them next week for next week's Real-Isode. Thanks, Sarah.